Hi people, thank you for stopping by Building Wealth with Rajiv. Crypto market is in tatters. Luna is just gone. Overnight it has gone. Now, if you're concerned about your existing portfolio, or if you're thinking whether you should start a position in crypto, then listening to Anndy Lian will be of great help to you. Andy is a thought leader, one of the first mover in crypto space, advises a few governments on crypto. On top of that, he's a pretty genuine, authentic, no nonsense, no bluff kind of guy. Hopefully you find my content useful. For such thoughtful content, please follow my channels. Tell your friends to subscribe to my channel as well. That will be very kind of you. Hey, Andy, thank you. It's been a year we talked. Great to see you again. Hope you're keeping well.
All good, brother.
Okay. Now, crypto, what's happening? I mean, it's all down the dumps now.
Well, when there are times when things goes up, things can come down, right? So I think it is just a cycle. Many of our friends who have experienced the previous few cycles, may not be that panicked, but new players are actually very panicky as of now. So I hope to see a bit of a bounce back or a bit of a piece of a good news that may happen, in time to come, but definitely not anytime soon. I think because as you know, we had of course we had a war, we had a Luna crash, then we had a lot of other things that comes together with it. I still think that the disaster is still not here yet, because the real disaster will come when everything is being cleared out properly. That includes the recent saga with Three Arrows Capital. Yeah, so that's how I see it.
So you mean you're saying the worst is not over yet? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I don't think that is over yet, because if there are a few things that we should really look at. Yeah. So the first thing is we should look at the statistics, online, on the different exchanges and the different indexes in terms of buying, selling, and the volume. It has decreased a lot. NFT sales, for example, it has dropped to only $1 billion as of statistic obtained earlier this month, for the month of June. So I still think that the real disaster has not really set its stage yet. It really may come after all these bigger boys are being liquidated, bankrupt, or new unfound issues that may not have popped out, came into light, and then that will help to accelerate what we see right now. So the best case scenario right now is not about looking at the price going up. The best case scenario now is we should find a way to identify and flush out all the bad assets, and all the bad doings, right? So after that period of time, then we could possibly see a change in the market sentiments. Again, as of now, I don't see that coming in anytime very soon.
No, so I appreciate that, Andy. But just tell me one thing. You're so close to, and you're speaking so many conferences, and you're so close to the market. What other exchanges are at risk now? I know it's a bit controversial, but it'll help people knowing. Like yesterday, I read about there is Indian exchange which is in Singapore, right? I mean, which gone bankrupt, or which is filing for liquidation, or in the Singapore court or something. So what's next? What could be what are the potential in your view? Are the some people they need to watch out, some exchanges, or
I don't like to put out names. You know me.
Yeah.
I don't like to put out names. I don't want to put out any fear, in the space. I always try to give people the warning. Yeah. So if you look at one of my tweets, I've said something like which one of the top exchanges is not regulated anywhere, right? I think that would be the best hint to look at which are the possible exchanges that can get into trouble, right? Because of this, So this is how I see it. But with all honesty, the chances of exchanges getting into trouble to the extent of some which stopped some of this withdrawal, the chances for the top 10 exchanges to be doing that, I think the chances are quite slim. There are some chances, and that's the reason why I said, those that are unregulated, those will have the higher chances. All right, this is part one. Yeah. So if you go down the list for spot exchanges from 20 to 50, the chances would have increased by a lot. Minimally increased by 30%. So
even the rank 20 to 50, is it?
Yes, rank 20 to 50 based on coin market cap. Those are risky. Yeah. So if you really go deep into the numbers, deep into their setup and so forth, I felt that those exchanges are at risk on a higher tier level. So I do see people starting to withdraw assets from exchanges into their own wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I still find that is a good thing. It's a more precautionary stance that people are taking, and that is also to protect themselves, and also it's also a good test for the exchanges as well. So coming back to the point to your question, who is going to be getting problems, giving users problems. I think number one, I summarize those that are not regulated, especially the top 10 exchanges, those that are not regulated, you got to really take note. Second part is if you have a lot of funds in the exchanges, and when times are sensitive, what I would suggest is probably you can withdraw some of your funds back to your own wallet. This is just a prevention measure. My last point that I want to share is exchanges in the top 10 going to full bankruptcy mode. I think it is quite tough, right? But I do see that there are possibilities for those from 20 all the way to 50. Yes, the chances are slightly higher. Anything more than that, I think the chances are very high because they do not have any real good volume. And without the good volume, they can't sustain. And when they can't sustain, then the snowball issue would happen. They will stop the withdrawal, they will stop a lot of things. So this is my very frank answer.
No, I think really appreciate this. This is help. So top 10, let's talk about top 10 now. Many of us are in top 10 right now, including me. Yeah, my stuff is with Gemini. My interest rate, I'm earning some interest rate with HODLNet or whatever that Singapore-based stuff is. And I'm looking to withdraw to wallet, in a day or two. Is that something? I think irrespective of whatever exchange you are in, it's good to have a cold wallet and put your coins inside the cold wallet, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. You should just keep some of the funds in your own wallet, and then that would help to give you a bit of ease of mind, and not guessing which exchange is going down next, right? So I think that should be a very sound move for retail investors.
So I think, look, I know, Andy, you don't like naming, and also you're part of the industry. So, when you said that big unregulated exchange, is it Binance? No. Or...
Binance, if you look at their setup, Binance is regulated at certain places, right? Because you can see that they are in Middle East, they are in Asia, they are in Europe. They are regulated. In my opinion, when I say not regulated, I meant they are not anywhere. They could be registered as a company. That doesn't mean that they are regulated, right? So they must hold a certain form of license or certain agreement with the government that they can operate there. So those are the one that I think are a bit subjective. Yeah. So
Okay.
so this is just a precautionary note to
Okay.
share,
Okay.
not to fight any exchanges.
Okay. Now, what is the long-term thesis for you, Andy? I mean, you are a crypto person, right? I mean, all your life is about crypto. So what is that? Does it affect your long-term thesis on cryptos?
Long-term thesis wise, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think in terms of long-term perspective, things are very bullish. You can see countries adopting, banks changing their
Mm.
stance, central bank, looking at certain asset with a different, with a different pair of lenses. So I think long-term wise, it has not changed, But the point again is how many of these retail investors or how many of these institutional investors have lost the faith in crypto right now when it's bearish, right? I'm not sure. I don't have the statistics, but bear in mind that in any financial markets, there's always ups and downs, right? So if investors who came in during the last bull market and has hold on to the tokens, no sell, keep holding it, blindly, and then now they get the lost, then I think it's a very good lesson for them, right? Then again, if they manage to sell it, they got the gains. What are they going to do for the industry? Are they going to keep the gains or are they going to reinvest? Are they going to build the infrastructure? I still think with the right mindset, you can definitely go very far. And with the right market, crypto will also bounce back very fast. If you look at how things are, I dare say that if the traditional markets were to go into recession, cryptocurrency were to go into recession. All right. And then when it bounced back, I am very sure that crypto will bounce back faster than the traditional markets
Okay.
because of again, it's also because it's volatile. Also, it's because of the people who believe in crypto. It just bounced back faster. So long term wise, it's still okay.
Okay. Now, I just give you an example, Andy. I have some, I don't have, by the way, but imagine if I have spare cash right now. Should I take advantage of low prices, crypto prices, and which coins do you think are safer for, investors like me who know cryptos but don't know as much as you do, you know?
I think it's not about how much I know or how much you know. First of all, you have to really look at your own risk appetite, right? So when you
Mm.
say you have extra money, it means that it could be extra money that you can gamble, yeah. Okay, so we take it as this pretext that this extra money you're willing to lose it, yeah. So if you are willing to lose it, then you ask yourself, is this the right timing, right?
Mhm.
Is this the right bottom? Nobody is able to answer this, for you, But my very strong and rational mind, would suggest this. Yeah. So first of all, if you have to invest, you want to invest, you think that this is the lowest, invest by tranches, right? Do
Okay.
not go all in, right? So so when you cost down the average, you will realize that, oh, maybe the price is a lot lower if you buy in a smaller tranche, right? And then you got to time the timing right? So if you are expecting the coin to drop further, and then if there's a news saying that the interest rate has gone up, for example, probably there's a decrease in the price again, then if you time that correctly, you can actually make a very good buy, right? So it's about going by trenches, timing it right, and then uh, you also have the exit at the right point, right? If not, then you'll be stuck in the cycle again. So these are the very frank thing, when you say, what should I buy, I think again it goes back into the whole equation on what do you believe in and what do you research on, So if you believe that uh, maybe layer one are going to be the next big thing, for example, then you should look at all those layer one projects, right? If,
Like,
there's so many out there. Yeah,
Okay.
all you need to do is you look at the top 10, top 20, even top 50 on coin market cap. You can spot so many of them.
Okay.
So maybe you just look at those blockchain projects, from Cardano all the way to Solana, all the way to Matic. I think those projects with good technical background, with good community, those are the projects that you should look out for, right?
Okay.
How deep are you going to invest in? That depends on how deep your pockets are, right? And then how much you believe in the project. So going back to the point that I've mentioned is, number one, look at the technology. What's their roadmap? Have they fulfilled everything? Apart from fulfillment, you should look at how big their community are, right? And then last but not least, also look into their revenue streams.
Okay.
Some of these blockchain, for example, they have very good infrastructure, but they didn't market themselves very well. And then if you look at how their books add up, it's very much on a loop-sided situation where they spend a lot, revenue almost zero. So those are things that you really got to take note of. And then of course, then you have to look at the different verticals. Some of my friends will say that game related projects would be a good growth. I do agree to a certain extent. So watch out for those for the gaming ones that are popular, that are building their guilds in a good manner. I think those are the projects that you take note of. And then last but not least, if you look at the current market, we have projects still working very hard on NFTs, right? Different kind of NFTs, different utilities, exchanges, like Binance, for example, they signed Ronaldo, right? Bybit, for example, they signed on with F1, Red Bull. So all this situation, when you add them up, and at the point that where they invested into the NFT or invest into the IP and so forth, it is actually at a point where things are fairly bearish. This also means that they are bullish. They see that there's a market. They see that NFT is the connecting point, to bring in more retail blood, non-native, crypto-native retail blood into the system. So I think the third thing to really look out for are NFTs. So these are some of the things that we should look out for, and also take time to understand it. And this bounces back to the book that I'm writing right now. It's called NFT.
Okay.
From Zero to Hero.
Okay.
I've really completed it. Now looking for some forwards and filling up some of these gaps with pictures and so forth.
This is your second book, right?
Sorry?
This is your second book.
This is the second book, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm talking about the book because I also want people who read my book, when I publish it, I hope that they can get the right knowledge and look at the right case study, how different NFT project can be, can be a unicorn, and why some of them, they can't be a unicorn, why some of these tools are out in the market, but no one is talking about it, so there's a lot of things that we should educate. And again, NFT is the third pillar that I think is going to do well, in time to come, and it will do well even at the current bearish times, right? So I hope everyone can have an open mind and not only look at the prices, right?
Okay.
Prices drop, volume drop means it's going to die. Maybe for tokens, but NFTs is a new different ball game, where you could use that as a connector, use that as a bridge to bring in new users.
Andy, one thing I appreciate, and I want to say thank you to you now. I don't think you remember, but I reached out to you once asking about investment in Luna. Just I know you don't give investment advice, but your friend and the whole world was very bullish on Luna, but you were not. You kind of warned me saying that be cautious. And the whole world was thinking that burning Luna, this, that. What was that? I mean, that is, I think back in time, and I think you're not wrong. Or I mean, nobody can anticipate the future, but you're somewhere. What were you thinking that time?
First of all, I must clarify. First of all, I remember the whole conversation, and I also need to clarify that number one, I did benefited from Luna.
Okay.
As the earliest one of the earlier batch of
Investor or trader, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, more from an investor standpoint,
Okay.
because I was actually very active in Korea back then. Yeah? So first of all, with the pretext, yes, I benefited from it. When you came to me, about Luna back then, I gave the warning because I know that Luna is making big moves into the market, and that big move could have triggered some unfortunate events. So when you came to me as a friend, I gave you the advice, because I don't want friends to get hurt. That's number one. Second is I also know the sentiments on the ground in Korea very well. I realized that a lot more retail investors actually jump onto the coin. They think that, well, this is a Korean-led coin, and and the CEO is Korean, and they have good faith. So when that happens, in my mind is, well, something bad is going to happen, right? And for Luna, if people who are on the ground again, right in the beginning, there's a lot of skeptics, around Luna. Many of my friends, at some point of time, will still think that it's a Ponzi. To be very honest about it,
Really?
you talk to Koreans and so forth, you will know, yeah, Ponzi, but they are willing to take the risk. They are willing to take the risk.
But you never trusted the technology of Luna, this stable coin, this, that. I mean,
I think if you look at the technology wise, I think there's nothing to really shout about.
Okay.
To be honest, when the fluff is bigger than technology, then something is really wrong.
Okay.
Right? So that was with the basis that I think, when more retail investors jump in, and also new institutional investors jump in as well, to back Luna. I think that was not a good move. That was a move that came in too fast, too furious.
Okay.
People can be jealous. People can, look at it as a big chance to break the loophole, and break down the flaws. So that was how I think,
So what are the lessons from Luna, Andy? As a professional, as a retail investor, what is it? Don't go by frenzy, do your research, or is it stable coin is not here to stay? What's your takeaway? I think I have one more question after this, and we can.
I think, first of all, I think just a bit of a correction on that. I think stable coin is not here to stay. Is not true. Stable coin will still be here. If US dollar is still doing well, I think stable coin will still be doing well. I also want to say that stable coins such as USDT, for example, led by Tether, Bitfinex, I think they are doing a fantastic job. BUSD, led by Binance, I think is doing well. USDC is also doing well. I think that those are all cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, there's always a risk, right? But there are people who are very much against stablecoin, and then sometimes if you look at some of these news and so forth, when there are more people shorting stablecoin, it become a headline, people are shorting USDT, for example, and become a headline, and then people start to talk about it and so forth. But then logically, if you are a smart investor, those headlines are bullshit. right?
Okay.
Who the heck is going to long a stable coin? You know what I mean? There's always a cap at a certain level. Who's going to long it? So short, they are more short than long. I think this is a very fair. It's a very fair market movement. You know. So retail investors got to really look at things like this to make a sound decision and not be again disturbed by the fluff that is already happening in the market. You know. So this is one thing. Second thing is when we look at the algo stable coins and so forth, I still think that there is a market for it.
Okay.
I think they addressed a different set of risk management issues. You know, looking at how you peg, against US dollars, purely on US dollars. You know, so I think it serves a certain purpose in the space, but it has not gone into a perfection mode, right?
Okay.
So again, it really depends on how they put the different peggings or the different peg into the different baskets. So I still think that stable coins are really here to stay.
Okay.
You know, and I think it will evolve. You know, from the current stable coins that are all pegged directly with US dollars, you know, it will evolve in as we speak. You know, so that's something, and then I think retail investors, you know, got to be really mindful on the on what they invest in. You know, we have people, you know, in the space where the market is good, you know, they talk all the good things about crypto, and then when the market is bad, they talk all the bad things about crypto. I think being a retail investor, you got to have your own objective. You got to have the right mindset. You got to really think, what exactly do you want out of this, right? Because you are here to invest. You're not here to be a Twitter user, you know, just tweet some rubbish every day, you know. So you have to be very mindful. What do you want to gain out from this whole exercise, right? So my very truthful and sincere advice, you know, again non-financial, is you have to learn the market. You got to learn about the project, you know. Then you have to learn about your own risk appetite, right? If you are going on a mode where you only think that the market is going into maybe a hyper pumped stage, you know, then your mindset is wrong, right? Because you should not be looking at things like that, right? And then you also should not be reactive to how other people are looking at it, right? You should form your own point of view, and then go with your own point of view. And then if you lose it, then you know that you made the right decision. You made the analysis and say, oh, okay, I screwed up. You know,
there are learnings in there.
Correct. I screwed up. I learned, right? So these are the things that are really missing from the retail investors, and it seems like a lot of these retail investors have bipolar. You know, to be honest, you know, their mood swings very fast. You know, to prevent such mood swing, what I've mentioned before that about doing your own research, forming your own analysis, are actually very important, because it helps to keep your mindset and your mood calm enough to look at possible new opportunities at the right timing. If not, you will just be crying over spilled milk all day long, all year long, and you will lose everything. You know, so this is a very straightforward advice for.
I think, Andy, last question: staking. Again, the whole world was saying stake, and I messaged you, and you said, "Be careful." You know, Anchor Protocol paying 20% and all that. Now I'm kind of thinking that I was thinking, why Andy is telling me not to stake when the whole world is staking? And you know, is he what bogey is he riding in? So what's your outlook now?
It's the same. It's the same outlook. The point about staking is about sustainable returns, right? So if the returns are non-sustainable, then the staking become a Ponzi stake. Right?
Okay.
So you have, number one, again, you have to look at the returns, whether is it sustainable or not. This is number one. Number two, that you have to really look at it when you talk about staking, you talk about DeFi, right?
Yeah.
Are they really DeFi? Are they really decentralized? Give you an example. If you go to a DeFi lending protocol and they are centralized, it means that, for example, Andy has a better credit, have a reputation. I will go to them. I will get special privileges, right? Oh, you don't need to collateralize that much. You can get this much instead of this much. So get this much because of reputation, because it's centralized, right? But if you go to some DeFi protocol, again, some platform where it's decentralized, means that they only look at the coding. They don't care who you are, they only look at how much you have in a wallet, how much is being staked, and they work out a good price or a good return point for you. I think those are much better in terms of stability, right? Because they don't care whether you are big bank, big hedge fund, or a guy with big reputation. They don't really care, So if you put these two into the right equation, then you will realize that, oh, okay, so these platforms you can stake, that platform you can't stake.
Okay.
Right. We don't talk about the black swan event, like USDT, UST, for example. Sorry, Paulo. UST, for example, or Luna UST, for example. Those are black swan. We don't talk about that because it's a blanket down, right? But if you talk about normal staking, that 2 points that I've mentioned are actually very key points for stakers, who wants a good stable return, who wants to put their money somewhere. These are the things that they really need to take note of.
Okay.
So I hope that helps a bit, with your viewers.
Yeah.
And also hope that they can make better decisions, based on proper knowledge. It's not when an influencer, for example, asks you to buy, you buy.
A lot of people do it. A lot of people do it, and that's unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate, and you have to also be very mindful when you look at projects. You don't look at the number of followers, for example. Don't purely look at the number of likes, for example. Many of these can be bought.
Yeah.
Right. And then some of them are botted. All the robots are churning out the comments. So you got to do your own cross-reference and find the correlation, right? So most recently, I did a polling, to see which are which project is is the most active, and then of course, I see some projects are active, they are very supportive and so forth, but then if I look at it from an exchange operator perspective, and I look at the numbers, it doesn't really add up. Right. One very straightforward correlation, is if someone were to like your post, retweet your post, but they are not following you, one or two is okay. Yeah. You have 1,000 of them. It's strange, right?
Yeah.
So exchanges got to really bear in mind that, all these correlated variable figures should be part of how they assess a project. Similarly, for the retail investors as well. Retail investors, I would say they are more free, maybe sometimes. Take some time to look at the posts, take some time to look at the model. You some of them may say that, oh, Andy, I don't know which one is a decentralized DeFi platform. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. But then if you don't look at staking, you look at pure project investing, you have to look at the socials. You can't be a big project if your social looks like crap. So again, these are all points that you can gather together to make a sound decision on what you should buy next or what you should look at next.
And yeah, amazing. You look. I mean, it's basically looking back in the hindsight tells you what was right or what was wrong. And my experience with you that time when I was talking to you was, Andy's being too cautious. But now I think you made a lot of sense. So thank you for all this advice, and thanks for this advice as well, which will really help people, my viewers, and people who follow you on Twitter. You have lots of people following you, and so thank you, Andy, so much, and we'll chat soon again.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.